What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and this video I want to take a look at Assassin's Creed Shadows and its performance so far. So we had the PC arc. We had a lot of people saying a lot of different things to those Steam concurrent numbers, and I was trying to wait it out, see what else was coming, because, if it was going based just off of PC, I don't think it would have been the biggest thing of all time, right? But the early estimates, the early reports, which I do trust, by the way, we're going to take a lot of this from Tom Henderson, who was the resident second best insider, I think, on planet Earth besides Jason Schreier. And then also Ubisoft specifically, the guy knows his stuff more than maybe almost anything else, maybe Battlefield, right? But I'm going to go based off of him because I very much trust him, and I do think he's got the inside reports there. And what it basically says is that Assassin's Creed Shadows is doing really well. So we'll look at the individual data, and let's start that right now. So I want to take a look at this thread that starts with this tweet. Had to remove the original Valhalla/Shadows tweet because I was sourcing the Valhalla wiki, which was inaccurate, behind-the-scenes data via Ubisoft sources. So Valhalla day one player numbers was 2.55 million. Odyssey day one was 430,000. And then Shadows day two player numbers 2.2. Shadows should do about 6 million in its first month on this trajectory, right? Valhalla did 8 million. Odyssey did 3.4 million in its first month. And you had somebody responding, and he said, how does a game that has about 68K on PC get 1.9 plus million console purchases? I would like to see the numbers, please. No way Shadows even broke 1 million. Ubisoft is padding the numbers by using their subscription service downloads as purchase numbers. And then Tom responded and said the concurrent player number that everyone obsesses about on Steam is about 15 to 25% of the daily active users on that platform. There's obviously a lot of variables here, but it's a good rule of thumb, in my opinion, after seeing the publicly available Steam database data and behind-the-scenes data on various games. So at its peak of 41K in its first day, you're looking at about 200,000 in terms of the people that actually had it in day one at 20%. This excludes Ubisoft Plus and console players. So how many players play on PC versus console? Well, I don't have that data yet on Shadows. Hopefully someone gives it to me, and I don't want to speculate too much, but 20 to 25% of players playing on PC isn't unheard of. Both Odyssey and Valhalla numbers tracked throughout their life cycles at around 20% on PC. Day one on PC for Valhalla was higher at 33% as an Epic Games exclusive, but stabilized. And we're seeing a lot of reports of like the breakdown 73-27. 73% of players getting it on console, 23% getting it on PC. So that very much aligns even what he's saying, right? If it's, the console versus PC is somewhere in that 80-20, 75-25. Assassin's Creed does skew historically more console, right? So that kind of lines up. We've also had people just in the past couple of days, I think specifically in the UK, it had the biggest opening of any game this year. It comfortably beat Monster Hunter Wilds. It destroyed Star Wars Outlaws. I think they said that it got more physical purchases just in the first couple days than Outlaws did in 3 months. So look, it's very clear, and there's so much noise. We talked about this in a video a couple of days ago. This is not a video of, simping for it or destroying it. This is really just kind of providing the news for you guys. But what we've really seen over the last couple of days is people letting agendas, and I mean, there's personal feelings. There's people that are debating, various things on this game. Whatever, have at it. But the thing is, you almost have to kind of separate that when it comes to, the actual sales or the actual performance, right? They're not, they can be linked, but, one is more opinion and just conversation, and the other is, factually, what it did. Because you can have the conversation, does this save Ubisoft? Does it, kind of prolong the inevitable? But, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of people being very disingenuous about this. They've padded the numbers. They're giving it away for free so freaking much. Look, I do think it's been factually reported that, and I mean, I can even talk from my own personal side. Ubisoft gave me a code, right? And what I did find interesting is I did not get a code for Star Wars Outlaws. Ubisoft most times gives me codes for games that I feel interested in, but not every time, right? But Star Wars Outlaws, they didn't. And in Assassin's Creed, they did. And I was thinking for a while, okay, is that maybe not necessarily a form of desperation, but is that, okay, hey, look, we're giving this out to anybody possible to spread the good word, right? You can interpret it different ways. Like maybe it was them feeling very confident. Maybe it was them feeling, okay, well, if we get this out to as many people as possible and it's good, this can help sales. But here's the thing, like you can argue how many free copies that they're giving it out on, but I feel like, well, that's not going to add up to millions of people. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, and I say this a lot, like we live, all of us, or at least watching this video, you're with me here. We live in our like little echo chambers, even though I really try not to. I mean, I get yelled at a lot, but we do generally, okay? People that watch these videos and people that are on YouTube, it's not everybody. And when a game kind of breaks through that, when a game is selling 1, 2, 3 million units in the first couple days, like it's a game kind of bigger than the internet discourse. You know what I mean? It doesn't really get affected as much as you might think. So I really, and this was something I talked about with Shadows months ago, I really wondered, all this Ubisoft hate, warranted or not, we're not really here to really talk about that, but warranted or not, this Ubisoft distrust, this Ubisoft just kind of being done with those kind of games, and Star Wars Outlaws not doing good, a lot of Ubisoft games not doing good, Skull and Bones, etc. Would it impact Assassin's Creed, this franchise that, historically has always done really, really well? And it did kind of feel like maybe it would catch up to Ubisoft, like the noise was loud enough. But honestly, like, again, this is where separating, like, I never really wanted the game to fail. I've said that before. I didn't really care where it landed. I just wanted it to be good and just kind of be time worth spent. But, as we got closer, I was thinking, yeah, it is loud. Like, there's a lot of frustration with them and with Assassin's Creed and with, the franchise. Is that going to do something? But again, this is where you have to put kind of personal biases aside and say, yeah, you can have whatever I don't really care. You can have whatever opinion you want on it. But you look at it, it's doing really well. It's destroying Star Wars Outlaws. So yeah, Star Wars Outlaws was a failure for them, but this is like more than quadrupling it, right? This is doing really good compared to that. And it seems to be going pretty fast. Like, I don't know. I mean, to what Tom Henderson said, like, I don't know if it'll keep that pace. We'll see. It is honestly pretty light in terms of gaming releases. Like, we had Kingdom Come. That was a massive game. Split Fiction, I feel like, was massive for what it was. Monster Hunter was massive, but you have Assassin's Creed. You got South of Midnight, like that's not going to be very big. Expedition 33 is a game I'm super excited for, but I don't think that's going to sell, 10, 15 million units. Doom is probably a huge game, but that's 2 months away. Doom the Dark Ages is 2 months from now. So I really think if Assassin's Creed just kind of sticks to it, which I don't see how they couldn't stick to it, this game could do, 5, 10, 15 million as the months and as the year go by. And that wouldn't be that far off from like past. That's the thing. Like it or hate it, like the trajectory that they're on with AC or not, they've been pretty successful. These games have sold 5, 10, 15 million plus units. And I think we've heard, I don't know if it was from Ubisoft or it was just a report, this literally is the second most successful AC launch ever. That's huge. It just is. And I don't know what that changes, if it changes anything, but those are like the undisputable facts, I feel like, at this point. So, we'll see what happens. I really, as he says in later posts, I really kind of want to see like their next shareholder, investor meeting, right? Like, what do they say? Because most times you do hear them say, we've shipped 3, 4, 5 million units. Like, I think they'll say it. So we will get like time accurate data. I think when they do that, you'll see the stock prices react and stuff, and maybe investors quiz them or investigate them on hey, well, how many of these were through this thing or that thing, like, are these people that bought the game? That is I will say, okay, more than anything, and this is something that I've actually kind of defended on all sides, when they did the 1 million player number, the 2 million player number, and even now, right? Even now, you can talk about the console numbers as we just did, but a lot of it can be through the subscription service. Is it 50? But the thing is it 50% or is it like 20 or 10%? Right? I don't know. Like, how popular is Ubisoft Premium? It's something that I did actually for Star Wars. I did for 1 month. I paid the $18, rented Star Wars Outlaws, and then just let it go. And that's what I did. And yeah, I think a lot of people would. I've been saying that out loud. Like, hey, I don't know if AC Shadows is worth 70. In fact, I think it's not. And I've said that myself. So, renting it, for $18, that's actually the way that I would push people to do it. But I talk to a couple tens of thousands of people a day. You know what I mean? So it's like, again, that's those echo chambers that you might not realize that you're actually in. I don't know how many people are actually doing their subscription service. How many people actually know they have a subscription service? So I don't know, of those 2 million people that we know of, right, that they said 2 million, how many of those are the free, the people you see on Twitter and stuff? Oh, there's so many of them are free. I don't know how many of them are actually free. It's very, very little. But then number two, how many of them are subscription? Okay, that's something I'll defend. I think a lot of them could be subscription, but also very little. We don't know. Like, they need to kind of say it. And I guess you can trust them, not trust them, whatever. But that's something that, they're going to have to just let it out that, we got, 100,000 signups to our subscription service, which means X amount of people, did it that way. I would imagine 90%, 90+% were bought. So, of those 2 million, let's say I would say at least like 75% would be like 1.5. I think it's probably 1.5 plus actually bought it and the rest of the subscription. That would be my guess. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.